Most Australian founders and business owners choose their country for the wrong reason. They start with the country, not the big picture. And that's where expensive mistakes begin. You tend to look at tax rates, lifestyle, cost of living, and assume that's the decision. It isn't, because the country that works for someone else may be completely wrong for you. I'm Vina White, CEO of WellSafe, and in this video, I'm going to show you why choosing the right country is not about finding the lowest tax rate. It's about whether your overall strategy actually works, because the country itself is really the issue. The strategy is. This is the mistake. You think choosing the country is the strategy. It isn't. The country is only one piece of a much bigger strategy, because the real question is not which country has the lowest tax. The real question is which country aligns with the life I'm actually trying to build. My residency, my business, my family, my assets, my lifestyle, my cost of living, my long-term objectives. Because if those elements are not aligned, the country itself does not solve the problem. This comes up consistently with founders and business owners planning an international move. You start researching countries: Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Portugal, Malta, Hong Kong. And very quickly the conversation becomes, which country is best? But that's usually the wrong question, because when we review the situation properly, the conversation changes. The questions become, where do I actually want to live? Where will I control my business from? Where are my assets located? Where are my family ties? What are my long-term objectives? And does the country I'm considering actually support all of those things working together? Because if it doesn't, the country itself does not fix the problem. This is where many founders and business owners get caught. They optimize for one variable, tax, but ignore everything else: residency, control, structure, lifestyle, family considerations, long-term flexibility, future business growth. And when those elements are not aligned, friction starts appearing, not because the country is bad, because the country is wrong for the position. You can have a low tax residency, an offshore company, international banking, global operations, and still have a position that doesn't work, because it may also have Australian ties, Australian control, Australian behavioural continuity, ongoing connections back to Australia. And if those elements remain misaligned, the country itself does not determine the outcome. The overall position does. If you're a founder or business owner, this becomes significantly more important, because your decision is not simply where should I live, it's where will my business operate, where will value be created, where will strategic decisions occur, where will future growth happen, and what does the long-term structure need to support. Because if the country does not support those objectives, you can end up building an entire structure on the wrong foundation. This is the key point. There is no universally best country. There is only the right country for your specific situation, because your circumstances are unique. Your family, your business, your assets, your objectives, your timeline, they are different from everyone else's, which means the right country for you may be completely different from the right country for someone else. That's why copying someone else's relocation strategy is often where problems begin. Because once you've chosen the country, you've relocated, you've structured around it, you've built relationships there, you've established banking, you've created operational systems, and changing course becomes much harder. So if the original decision was based on incomplete analysis, you're often not making adjustments later, you're rebuilding. Choosing a low tax country does not automatically improve your position. Choosing the right country for your situation does, because the objective is not simply lower tax. The objective is creating a position that is aligned, sustainable, compliant, and capable of supporting your long-term goals. If you're planning to relocate, this is where mistakes become expensive, because choosing the wrong country can undermine everything built on top of it. If you want clarity before you decide, not problems after you move, request an exit position review. We'll show you which jurisdictions align with your objectives, where your current risks sit, what needs to be structured first, what opportunities may exist, and what your position may look like before major decisions are made. Because once you've committed to a country, you're no longer evaluating the decision, you're living with it. Because the best countries is not the one with the lowest tax. It's the one that actually supports your position. See you in episode 6.